Welcome to Mind Blow, the ultimate destination for jaw-dropping content that will surprise, inspire, and entertain you every step of the way. If you love discovering the unexpected, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and share with your friends to keep the excitement going. Your support helps us keep blowing minds and creating content you'll never forget. So buckle up and get ready, because this is just the beginning. The South China Sea, long a flashpoint for regional tensions and global anxieties, suddenly shifted in 2025, catching the world off guard. After years of tense standoffs, near misses, and diplomatic deadlocks, China surprised observers by accepting the Philippines' bold proposal for comprehensive cooperation, a move few had thought possible. The world was stunned as the two nations announced joint oil and gas exploration, opening up vast underwater resources that had long been a source of bitter dispute. Chinese investment began pouring into Philippine infrastructure, with new roads, bridges, and ports springing up, symbols of a new era of economic partnership. Alongside economic cooperation, a new security dialogue was announced, promising regular talks and joint efforts to keep the peace in these contested waters. This was no minor gesture, it was a seismic shift, with China embracing partnership over confrontation, and Manila daring to chart a new course. The announcement sent shockwaves through global capitals, raising urgent questions about the future of alliances, the balance of power, and the regional order in Asia. For decades, the U.S. had relied on the Philippines as a key ally in the Indo-Pacific, anchoring its presence and influence in the region. Now, that foundation seemed to wobble, as old certainties gave way to new realities and military strategists scrambled to reassess their plans. Was this a genuine breakthrough for peace, or a calculated strategic move by China to fracture American alliances and reshape the regional order to its advantage? The handshake between Manila and Beijing challenged the status quo, signaling that the old rules of engagement might no longer apply in this vital region. The future of the South China Sea, and perhaps the world's geopolitical landscape, had just become radically uncertain, with new possibilities and risks emerging overnight. The chessboard had been flipped, the pieces scattered, and for now, no one knew where they would land or what the next move would be. Why did the Philippines reach out to China after years of resistance? Facing economic hardship and slow Western support, Manila saw Chinese investment as a lifeline. New ports, railways, and energy grids. The deal shelved sovereignty disputes for shared economic gain, while establishing a direct security dialogue with Beijing. The government framed this as independent foreign policy, peace through prosperity, not confrontation. It was a high-stakes gamble, betting that economic interdependence would bring stability, not subjugation. The Philippines wanted agency, not to be a pawn in great power rivalry. The world watched as Manila rolled the dice on its future. For China, saying yes was a masterstroke. The deal secured vital energy resources and opened new markets for Chinese companies, advancing the Belt and Road Initiative. Militarily, it weakened the U.S. First Island chain, giving China freer access to the Pacific. The Philippines' pivot complicated U.S. military planning, especially regarding Taiwan. Diplomatically, China recast itself as a partner, not a bully, offering a template for others in the region. The agreement drove a wedge between the U.S. and its allies, showing that partnership with China brought real rewards. If Manila could strike a deal, why not others? China had shifted the regional dynamic, using economic partnership as its most potent weapon. In Washington, the news hit like an earthquake. The U.S. faced losing access to critical Philippine bases, undermining its Indo-Pacific strategy. A harsh response risked pushing Manila further toward Beijing. A soft one signaled weakness to other allies. The crisis exposed a U.S. blind spot, focusing on security while China built economic influence. The Philippines' move was a wake-up call. Prosperity matters as much as alliances. Washington scrambled to offer economic incentives, but lagged behind China's financial firepower. The U.S. now faced a painful choice: try to win Manila back, or build a new strategy without it. The handshake forced America to confront the limits of its power in a changing world. The recent Sino-Philippine Pact sent shockwaves through ASEAN, reverberating far beyond the conference rooms and diplomatic circles. It was a move that few had anticipated, and its impact was immediately felt across the region. The Philippines' sudden pivot fractured the bloc's unity, undermining its carefully crafted collective approach to the South China Sea dispute. Tensions rose as member states questioned each other's loyalties and strategies. Other claimants, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei, now faced a difficult dilemma. Should they pursue their own bilateral deals with China, risking further division, or double down on their security ties with the United States and hope for a united front? The deal offered undeniable economic temptation, promises of investment, trade, and infrastructure. But it also carried the risk of divide-and-conquer tactics from Beijing, threatening to pit neighbors against each other. Vietnam especially found itself at a crossroads, having to choose between deepening its growing ties with the US or seeking a pragmatic accommodation with China, its powerful neighbor and historical rival. Across the region, nations began to reevaluate their delicate balancing acts, weighing the risks of an escalating arms race against the possibility of further accommodation and compromise. ASEAN's centrality was now under threat, as bilateral deals between individual countries and China proved more effective and more tempting than the slow, often frustrating process of building consensus. China skillfully exploited the growing tension between national interests and collective solidarity, deepening the cracks within the regional bloc. The domino effect had begun, not with collapsing governments, but with a steady erosion of confidence in regional institutions, leaving Southeast Asia at a critical crossroads for its future. The agreement's impact rippled worldwide. Global shipping faced new uncertainty as China and the Philippines jointly managed key sea lanes. Energy markets reacted. New supplies could lower prices, but China's control raised security concerns for importers like Japan and Europe. Financial markets grew volatile, linking geopolitics and economics more tightly than ever. In Taiwan, anxiety grew as the Philippines' neutrality complicated US defense plans. NATO debated how to counter China's influence, realizing military power alone was insufficient. The pact challenged the US-led order, showing economic incentives could trump alliances. The world edged toward a multipolar era, with middle powers gaining leverage. A single diplomatic move had redrawn the global map. As the dust settles on a rapidly shifting geopolitical landscape, the world stands at a crossroads, facing starkly different futures. The choices made now will echo for generations. One scenario emerges: managed interdependence. In this vision, the Philippines skillfully balances China's growing economic partnership with its long-standing US security ties. By navigating these complex relationships, Manila becomes a model for peaceful dispute resolution, showing that cooperation and dialogue can prevail even amid great power rivalry. But there is another path: vassal state. Here, China's economic grip tightens relentlessly, eroding Philippine sovereignty and undermining the US alliance system in Asia. The Philippines risks becoming a pawn, its independence overshadowed by external pressures. Or the region could spiral into heightened confrontation. In this scenario, the US pushes back forcefully. The Philippines transforms into a new Cold War battleground, with tensions escalating and the entire region growing more unstable, uncertainty looming over every decision. Manila's decision is more than just a regional matter. It's a pivotal turning point for the global order, with consequences that will ripple far beyond Asia. The first major crack in the US-led alliance system in Asia has appeared, signaling a possible shift in the balance of power. Will this moment lead to a balanced, multipolar Asia where nations cooperate as equals? Or will it usher in an era dominated by a single power, reshaping the region's destiny? The Philippines has embarked on a perilous journey into truly uncharted waters, where every decision carries immense risk and opportunity. Its choice, driven by both urgent economic needs and a deep desire for autonomy, could ultimately redefine the global balance of power. The future remains unwritten, and the world holds its breath. The stakes could not be higher. Every move is watched, every word analyzed, as the fate of a nation, and perhaps the world, hangs in the balance. The world watches, waiting to see what comes next, as history is written in real time.